The rest of the news Monday. Good morning. This is Dan Earhart on President's Day. Yippee! If you're a government worker, you have the day off. Otherwise, it's a fairly bland, meaningless holiday. It occurs the third Monday of each February because both Lincoln and Washington were born during this month. Did you ever know anyone that was born near Christmas? And some big gift was always prefaced with, well, this can be for your birthday and Christmas too. It's kind of like that. Have a nice day. Now, to add some meaning to an otherwise lackluster holiday, tonight PBS features Clinton, a 2-hour part 1, second half, tomorrow night. Relive the 90s. PBS describes Clinton as one of the most complex and conflicted characters to ever stride across the public stage. Also, the Colbert Report resumes production tonight. Mother Lorna has been not so well, but there's no condition update at this time. Last night was episode 500 of The Simpsons, who were booted out of Springfield and are now living off the grid in the Outlands. The townspeople realize the error of their ways, but the Simpsons kind of like it. See ya! Yesterday was like Pearl Harbor Day in Australia. 70 years ago, on February 19th, 242 Japanese planes bombed Darwin. For the first time, it was called the Blitz of Darwin, with more bombs than fell on Pearl Harbor 2.5 months before. And there were 62 other bombing raids on Australia during the Pacific War. That was 70 years ago. And also on the 19th, but 3 years later in 1945, American Marines stormed the beaches of Iwo Jima. Here's a story so interesting, it's up on the Rest of the News Facebook page about John Fairfax, who died recently at his home in the Las Vegas suburb of Henderson. This fellow, John Fairfax, is the first person to ever row across an ocean alone, that we know about anyway. In 1969, he rowed for 6 months to cross the Atlantic from the Canaries to a landing in Hollywood, Florida, in a rowboat. As he stepped from his boat to dry land on day number 180, he said, "This is bloody stupid." He almost went mad and was desperate for the company of a woman. So on his next rowing adventure, this time across the Pacific, his girlfriend Sylvia Cook went with him. They left from San Francisco and 4 days short of 1 year later, landed in Australia. John Fairfax became a professional gambler, which probably seemed like a pretty safe bet after battling the oceans and winning. His game was baccarat. Bruce Springsteen opens South by this year with a keynote speech Thursday, March 15th. The boss has a new album, Wrecking Ball, that he says was inspired by angry patriotism drawn from the Occupy movement and the now widening gap between the American dream and the American reality. Wrecking Ball. Birthdays for today: Rihanna at 24, Lily Taylor 45, Cindy Crawford 46, Jay Giles and Walter Becker are in their 60s, Buffy St. Marie and Nancy Wilson in their 70s, Sidney Poitier 85, and Gloria Vanderbilt 88. Fashion designer Vivienne Westwood says the most fashionable women in Britain are in their 70s. Why, Dame Vivienne herself turned 70 just this past April. She says people today have never looked so ugly. Everybody looks like clones, conformists. Nobody is thinking, just sucking stuff up, trained to be consumers and consuming far too much. She says modern disposable fashions are the worst yet. Everybody's clothes look the same. Ugly. On this President's Day, the resident president is testing out new campaign themes. Change we can believe in is so last decade. Something like winning the future or greater together, neither of which seems real inspirational. So for some real excitement this week after tonight and tomorrow night's Clinton saga on PBS, Wednesday night features a brand new debate live from Arizona. Now, wouldn't you love to hear Dame Vivienne pontificate on sweater vests? See you tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the rest of the news.